Hey there, I'm Brittany Schroeder, and business and marketing are my jam. I'm here to walk you step by step through this crazy thing we call business. I'm a small town girl, chocolate eating, Diet Coke drinking mom, marketing guru, automation Jedi, and all around good time. This is your weekly dose of all things business and life, sprinkled with some fun. This is the Redefine Business Podcast. Welcome to another episode of Redefine Business Podcast. I'm excited for my guest today. As I've mentioned before, I do an entrepreneur lunch in Utah, over kind of where I live in Utah County. And so I get to meet all these like entrepreneurs in person. And so Sarah came to my last one and I was like, I got to get you on my podcast. I love what you do. It's unique. It's different. I hadn't heard of it. So, but then right before we hit record, I said, how do you want me to introduce you? And she was trying to figure out the best way. I'm like, okay, you just introduce yourself. So Sarah, introduce yourself to my listeners.
Of course. Yeah. So I help coaches become more charismatic leaders through body language, through their voice, through nervous system regulation, and something that I like to call nervous system imprinting, which is basically just programming your body to feel comfortable and safe holding more.
Yeah, I love it. Well, tell us a little bit. I know a little bit of your background because I got to pick your brain when we were at lunch the other day, but tell my listeners kind of where you started and how you got to the place you're at now.
Yeah, of course. So this all started for me when I was studying dance at Brigham Young University many years ago. And it was while I was in that dance program that I really had an experience where I started seeing movement in a different way. Like growing up as a dancer, it was just like, oh, this is the stuff that I do like on stage or in dance class. And what I learned was that how I was feeling inside about me was showing up in how I moved. And the reason why I started to know that is because I noticed I was going through a rough time in my life, probably the darkest time in my life. And all my dance professors kept on giving me corrections that had one common thread. And they were telling me to take up more space. They're saying things like, lift your eyes, put energy in your fingertips, use your long legs, because I'm quite tall. And I realized that that was because of how I felt inside about me. And so I was like, well, okay, if these two things are so closely related, what's going on inside of me, how, like, what is showing up and how I move, maybe I can change how I move. And that's going to change how I feel about me. And it did. It changed my entire life. And so for a long time, I worked in the mental health field, really helping other people with trauma, learning how to be okay. But during that time, I was like, okay, I'm kind of getting burnt out. Like there's so much more that I would like to teach these people, but they're just not ready for it. So I was like, who is ready for it? And that's when my business coach at the time was like, you know who would be so great with this is entrepreneurs. They are action takers. They're ready for more. They need what you have and they will take it and run with it. And so I pivoted my entire business. And now I work particularly with coaches. I'm willing to work with other people as well, but I really hone in on coaches and helping them learn how to do things like own the room at their next event, being able to really lead in their coaching containers by having a presence that sets the stage for what expectations are, for helping others to see what it is that they can become. And it also just helps you do things like being able to hold bigger monthly incomes without self-sabotaging, which often happens when we reach our threshold of what we're used to. So that's my story in a nutshell.
Well, and I think it's super interesting because it really is like how you carry yourself, and having that confidence. I've always loved like fashion. And I think at a really young age, I think you and I kind of had this conversation at lunch because I was saying, for some reason, like I'm fascinated with confidence. I didn't grow up in like the best home. Like my parents were divorced. It wasn't like this, awesome home, but like I am very confident and all my siblings are very confident. And I have like this amazing mom. And I remember like fashion and I would, I think I was like 19 and I moved to Pittsburgh and I was a nanny and the fashion's a little different there. And I remember just like loving fashion and getting into it. And then I remember coming back and wearing something And I kind of laugh because I still do this. Like I will wear things that like nobody's wearing. And, people will say something to me about like, I remember like boys or somebody saying, what are you wearing? And I would joke back and be like, it's called fashion, wait for it. But I think it's just like really so much like how you carry yourself and having like believing in yourself. And it's not just like what you wear, but it's like how you wear it and how you carry yourself. If you have that confidence, people are attracted to that. People are so drawn to people with confidence.
Absolutely. It's magnetic.
Yeah. And I think too, it's just like, it's another thing is like how you talk about being on stage. If you have enough confidence to be on stage and you're carrying yourself well, people are like, well, then she must know what she's doing. If she has that much confidence to get up on that stage or to talk or to do those things,
Mm-hmm.
people are like drawn to that. And I think it's something that we like overlook a lot in, in businesses as business owners is, do we have that confidence?
Yeah. Yeah. Like nonverbal communication, it is wild how much louder it is than anything you are saying. And what you want to do is to build that trust in others because of how you're carrying yourself, how you present yourself to the world. There's a book that I really enjoy called The Charisma Myth. It's by Olivia Fox Cabane, I believe. This is me pulling out of my head. But one of the things that she teaches is that people will accept what you project.
I love that.
Right. And so, like, when you're able to really embody that confidence, that certainty in yourself, also warmth is very important. But when you do these things, then people trust you. And when you can build trust quickly, the amazing thing is they're not just going to be bought in, like give you their money kind of bought in, but bought in as far as like, I will do the work because I believe and trust you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think that it goes both ways too, like the body language. I think that we like really underestimate it because I think it's something that people either you're aware of it or you're not, and like it's interesting. So I kind of mentioned this with you. We were kind of talking about teenagers. I was kind of telling you about my teenage daughter. And I was saying like it's so interesting because like your body language and your tone can change a conversation. It can totally change the conversation.
Absolutely.
And it's just like having that confidence, but also like being aware of that. And I think some people just like, I know as teenagers, they are like not aware of it. Cause I'm like, if you roll your eyes like one more time, like don't have attitude with me. And they're like, what did I do? What did I say? I'm like, it's your body language. It's your body language. But I think as adults, we might not have that like attitude and that like negativity, but it's like the confidence too, that, if you can get on, like even social media, like we have to, like, we carry ourselves, we're in the public, we're out there so much. We have to have those tools.
Yeah. And what's interesting is that like our body language, so our brains are wired to pick up on body language. It just happens on a subconscious level. It happens in the same part of your brain that processes emotion. Right. And so you're always reading it. The question is like, can you bring that to your awareness? Can you make sure that you are communicating what you want to be communicating? And the really cool thing is that when you do these things, it doesn't just communicate to you and to others, right? It communicates to you personally. And the way you carry yourself says, this is who I believe I am and who I believe I can be to yourself, as well as to the people you're interacting with.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, one of the things with being a business owner is building that know, like, and trust factor.
Absolutely.
And so if you don't trust yourself, if you don't believe in yourself, other people aren't going to trust or believe in you either. And so you have to show up and believe in yourself. And that is how you carry yourself. It's interesting because you're saying you're a dancer. And so I bet a lot, I mean, as a dancer, you have to have a ton of like body awareness. So I'm sure you learned a lot that way. I did photography for 10 years and, it was the kind of the same thing when I'm taking pictures, like I can take this great picture, but like, if you want to look good, like feel good, like act good, like stand up tall and, like carry yourself, and it translates over onto like the images is the confidence. It's one of those things that like, do you have the awareness? I say this to my teenage daughter all the time. The most attractive feature is confidence. If you're confident, people will be drawn to you. Tell us maybe what are some like tips or things that people can work on just things to think about, like, what is it? Standing tall, like smiling. What are little tips that you can give? Just a little snippet of a few tips.
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked that. It's really interesting. I take a different approach than you might hear from a lot of body language experts, because really what matters the most is what your state is inside. What happens with my work is that we work on like what's going on in your nervous system, in like your roots is what I call it. And then we start going up, like more and more visible, more and more visible. The crazy thing is that when you really have your roots in a good place, like oftentimes the little tips I give with like, do this with your hands, that's already taken care of. And so I would say, like, how can you get confident in your inner state? What kinds of things build your confidence in yourself? Like, when do you feel the most powerful, the most alive, the most capable? Build on that. Make sure that you're kind of fueling that. And then the question that I always ask is, I think about, because it shows up differently for different people, right? So to ask yourself, if I already felt, let's say if you're like, okay, I want to feel really confident. If I already felt that way, how would I show up right now? What would I be doing with my body? What would I be doing with my voice? What kind of look would I have in my eyes? What would I be doing with my face? When we start to think, because it's often, a lot of it is intuitive. I mean, I can give more detailed stuff, but I think that is when you get to the heart of like, okay, I know what it feels like to be confident. Okay, I'd move like this.
No, I love that. And I think that, mindset is such an important factor in business and in life. But I agree with you that sometimes we think the answer is working from we're like fixing the outside, but it's really like starting with the root cause, the root, like where do we find that? So I love that.
Yeah, I like to take both approaches, and then like, okay, well, if I were to open my shoulders, oh yeah, that would actually help. Like, they're connected, and we can't neglect just one side or the other. It's good to attack it with both.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Well, awesome. Well, I have loved chatting with you, and this is so good. Tell my listeners, like, how do they find you? How do they work with you? Tell them all the things.
Okay. So, I mean, honestly, the best place to find me these days is on Instagram. My handle there is at the letter IAMSarahGodfrey. So that's at I am Sarah Godfrey. That's the best place to find me. I often have challenges that happen monthly or every other month that I offer. And that's really like the best starting place to work with me are these challenges. I have a Coach with Confidence challenge that will be happening next month. So that would be the best place to start, and just come in, hop in my DMs. I love chatting with people.
Awesome. I love it. All right, Sarah, I like to end all my podcasts with asking my guests 2 questions. So I'm putting you on the spot now. What is a pet peeve?
Okay. This is a very specific pet peeve. I hate it when I'm wearing socks and I'm walking around in my house and I step in like water, like, and my socks get wet. I hate wet socks.
That happens to me. Sometimes like my ice maker, like a random ice cube will fall out and I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I just step in? So I feel the pain on that.
I hate it. I hate that feeling. Even when I know it's water, I'm like, no.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Okay, awesome. What is a simple pleasure?
Okay. So I absolutely love reading. And I think it's really important. Like, I'm always reading a nonfiction book, but also I am always reading a book just for fun.
Well, awesome, Sarah. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. This was great. Reach out to Sarah. She has so many great resources and she's just an awesome person. So you would love like working with her. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Brittany.
Let's not stop the party here. Head on over to my Instagram or Facebook group, Redefine Your Business, and let me know your thoughts about today's show. I will see you again, same time, same place, next week.